This world is defined by the different boundaries, and then when the earth was created by the Big Bang, and then when it's transformed from the gold molten stage to become a cooling, that time its water vaporized from the molten stage of the material to become a the solid state. Now I'm talking about here why this topic is related to nowadays, and then whole the world is looking about the scenario is going on where the earth and the political boundaries is going on. So today this topic is very hot topic, and thing is that the nearly 7 billion populations are living on this earth, and these populations are really differentiate the earth climate, and then due to this climate change and happening due to the excessive use of the fuels, and then excessive use of the household chores, about that carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, that excessive the emissions from the household work, and then from the factories, and then cutting of the forest. All these things are coming under the themes of the how this will be affect that the melting of the snow, and then how the sea level will rise. So the problem is that the capitalist world, and then the world belongs to the very rich country, one of the group is called the first world country, and second is called the third world country. That first world country is coming the other western country like the USA and UK, France, and then Germany. All these countries belongs to first world, where that already per capita income is more, and then peoples are living healthy and wealthy, and then industrializations and already happen, and then thing is that they already have the good GDP, and people are have the very good incomes, and they have already stabilized the industries, and then modernizations and infrastructure already developed. Compared to that country, that third world country, that the South Asia country, where that still, and Latin world country like Latin America, like that Brazil, Argentina, and then Chile, all these countries don't still have that the industrializations, and then their per capita income is not much up to that first world country. So when these countries talking about that, please means that third world countries should take the actions against that climate change. They should have to stop the emission of all things like the CO2 emissions, and then little consumption of the fossil fuels. That means comparison between this first world country and then third world country. That means that who already have got the opportunity to become industrialized, and then become to establish the industries in that during that 80-50 or 70-70, like when the third world country was involved in that poverty, and then it was like colonizations of the western country, like the United Kingdoms, Germany, France, Spain. All these countries was colonized this third world country, and these populations was living under the poverty and marginalized. The large populations was don't have to means that per capita incomes is very less, and then they are just want to they were living mouth to hand. And then when this country was stabilizing, this first world country stabilizing thus all these capitalist industries, and this third world country was carrying as a living the miserable things. So if the comparing in the 21st century about this third world country and then first world country, there is no comparison between them, because already this first world country have established all these things about this wealthy nations, and they already consume that how much they have to do, because when this first world country was establishing that industries like the productions of the cottons, that production of the iron steels, and then production of the steams, and production of the electricities, and the motor vehicles, that consumption of the fossil fuels, already they optimize this utilizations. And then compared to the third world countries, this first world country have the populations, the pressure of the population is also not that much compared to this third world country, because third world country is growing their populations, that needs to create the infrastructure, that need to create the electricities, and they need to have to consume the fossil fuel, because that growth is needed for the development of this country or third world country, that are needed to that needed for that optimizing the use of that electricity for the GDP, gross development product. And thing is that when it's comparing with all these things, the first world country mostly rely on that nuclear power energy, and because they have the technology, and compared to the third world country, the third world country is still living under the poverty, and the underutilization of the technology and other things. So that grants should be given to them third world country, and then the grants and then aids, because that, and the other thing is the technological transfer. Technological transfer is needed for that upliftment of the third world countries. And thing is that if we are talking about the climate change, so the first world country have to take the actions about the preventions, and then taking the actions against to that emission of all this global what is called the greenhouse gases. What the greenhouse gases is that altering the temperature of the atmosphere, and with the depletion of the ozones, the cause of the ultraviolet radiation enter in that the area which are very sensitive to that to the atmosphere, like that. So suppose that here we can talk about the ozone layer. Ozone layer is that depletion is happening in that area of the Arctic and Antarctic, mostly the Antarctic area, that the depletion of the ozone is happening, and then this ultraviolet rays is very harmfully affected these regions. And thing is that due to this that increase of the global this temperature, and then this emission of the chlorofluorocarbons, that is the main gases for the this depletion of the ozone layer. So its effect on the melting of the snow, and then depletion of the snow layer, like the cryosphere, which are presented in the mountain range of the Himalaya and others area, and then snow in that Arctic and Antarctic regions, which are composing as a storehouse of the sea water. If this snow will be melted down, and that it will become in that after the melting of the snow, that will become in that sea level water, that will be rise the sea water level. And the mostly that world community who are living in that seashore area, like the famous city like that New York City, and then Bombay and Kolkata, and then Chennai, and other city of in Australia, in Singapore, and then others area, which are very good in contributing to the GDP in the world. So after this sea rising, and then the devastation will be happen to this city, and that after this devastation, after the sea rising, So this will be effect on the already those country all in the backwardness, in the poverty. Already they will affect their poverty levels, and then like I like it will have effect on that poverty eradications, health, and infrastructure, and then others like that. How that United Nations is committing their things like the sustainable development goals. In that one, it is coming like that food security and health, and others area like that like the protections of the like infrastructure development. So it's will all will be there to that affected, and then thing is that if it will be affected, then though already this country is facing the problem of the unemployment, poverty, and then health crisis, and like the food security, and like that all these things will be affected, and then thing is that they will go again in the cycle of the crisis of the all these things area, which already have objectified by the Sustainable Development Goals Authority. So this point is here that the world community should talk on the one tables, and then they have to decide that to check out this emission of the CO2, and then this like gases, something like that called greenhouse gases. And because that the global warming and increasing of temperature from the mean level, that means it will be affect on the flora and fauna of the and then species extinctions will be more if that climate change will be happen. And thing is that it will be affect the populations quality, and then that risk of the disease emerges from the after the snow melting from the cryosphere, like the Antarctic and Arctic. The scientists is assuming that this area have the depositions of the bad bacteria. Bad bacteria means that still that scientist community don't have that which type of the viruses and bacteria are inside in that snow area. So melting of this area of these Arctic and Antarctic, that will be caused to harm to that flora and fauna, and then emerge the new diseases in the world community. So my view, and then my observation is that so at the level of the small level, and then it's at the level of the global level, so all the community of the world, like that how many countries are there in this world, they have to talk together, and then they talk together, because the other planet still don't have the life, and then we cannot move from this earth to another planet, and then only one habitable planet is there, that is called the earth. So earth is protection and protecting of the earth is our responsibility, and then even the protections means that we have to take all the responsibility to check out the emission of the carbon dioxide, and then talk about the climate change, and then how we can do the development without disturbing the our nature and the natural calamities, and then how we can preserve all this flora and fauna, and then how we can preserve all these things, and we continue our development as a sustainable matter. So the futures cannot compromise all these things about this climate change, and then we can forward our the legacy of the managing the nature, and managing of the all these things to our next generation. Because if suppose that still the investigation is, and then the scientist community is searching for that others life, but still there is no life in the other planet, we cannot find out still in this multiverse that other planet is exist, their life is or not. So thing is that we have to focus on that, we have to preserve our planet Earth, because only we have only one planet, and then have to preserve these things. So climate change is very going to happen. So I think the whole community should come together and then talk on this matter.